How's it going, my fellow Kerbal nuts? Just here in orbit, checking out the, what's this ship called? The Augustus 4. Dock to its fuel tank slash range extender, the Agrippa. Now, I've gone ahead and fully fueled it already, off camera, with my reusable space station or fueler. So I'm gonna go ahead and set a maneuver node to go to Joule. Now I think today we'll be visiting Pol and trying to rescue some guys who got stuck there. So should be a fun mission. Yeah. Now, once we get to Joule, we'll have two powerful landers in Joule orbit, in addition to a fuel tank, which we can use to extend the range and just make everything a lot more convenient for us. Oh wow, we already got an intercept that easily. You know, the intercept looks a little bit expensive, so I think I'll try trimming down the power. Alright, see, that seemed to save us about 100 meters per second. Yeah. Let's see. Now we'll just warp to our burn. I've never actually tested this vehicle under load when attached to the fuel tank, so we'll have to see how well it holds up. I generally don't like to push things in Kerbal Space Program, but ever since they added in struts, I felt a lot more comfortable with it, especially if the thrust is relatively low. Yep. So hopefully it's stable enough. I assume it will be. But let's start a burn. There you go. Take away a few seconds. Oh, no. Definitely time to start. Alright, I think it's got the faintest oscillation, but it doesn't seem to be affecting us. So, now for those who are not following along, the series, this is an episode in a series. It's my career role in the Kerbal Space Program. Quite proud of it. It's a long one. It's also hardcore, so that means no reverting, no Kerbal respawns, no quick saves, nothing. So if I have like a $1 million explosion on the launch pad, I eat that cost. I don't revert the thing or whatever. And that's actually happened in this series multiple times. Even this ship right here that was launching, we've had 2 launch failures of this very ship. So now this is the 4th iteration of the ship, or I guess 5th launch of it. 4th iteration, very similar to the 3rd iteration. The 2nd iteration was probably the weakest. That's just am I controlling this the right way? Just seems like we're accelerating incredibly slow. Yeah. Then we're already on full thrust too. This thing's got 0 acceleration. I think I'll burn for another 40 seconds, and then we'll warp back around and replan the maneuver node. I think the delta V calculations don't really do very well when you have crossfeed enabled. Yeah, so it's been an interesting interesting career world, but basically the conundrum we have right now is we have a whole bunch of people stranded somewhere in the Joule system, various parts, mostly Lathe and Pol. So that's where we'll be going. Pol first. We got the Augustus 3 crew stuck at Pol, and that's just a lander. Just like this one, actually. But they left a little bit too early. They're a little too eager to get to Joule. And as a consequence, they don't have the necessary fuel to land their spacecraft and complete the refueling of their spacecraft. So that's why we're going to Joule. We should be getting there relatively quickly. In addition to that, we got a huge amount of crews stuck on Lathe, including Jebediah and Bill. So this lander is pretty capable. I think it should be a Lathe SSTO. And then if it can refuel with the fuel tank, which will launch up, and we'll have like a second lander to push everything around too, so we could really be efficient with how we place everything. Maximize fuel, redundancy in the system because we have two refueler landers that can refuel the fuel tank itself. We should be in a pretty good spot. So let's start that burn again. Thrust to weight ratio is kind of low for this stage. I remember just pushing so much stuff. So much massive stuff. That's barely like a meter per second. Probably like accelerating at like what, 0.15 G maybe. Pretty terrible for a chemical engine, but it is a fairly efficient rocket. It's got the Rhino engine on it. If you don't know anything about the Rhino, it's definitely one of the more efficient vacuum engines. Yep. So go to Pol, refuel the other lander, refuel this. What is this? Fuel tank. This is called the Agrippa. This is called the Augustus. The lander is called the Augustus. The fuel tank is called the Agrippa. If you don't know, there's the two famous Roman guys from way back in the day. Kind of going with like a Roman theme for this new generation of ships. So we went with famous explorers last time. Now it's Romans. So I don't know. Probably need to make something like the Caesar next, or you know. There's a whole bunch of Romans. More Romans than the Americans. Can make a lot of Romans. Man, we're accelerating slowly. Well, the good thing is we should have plenty of fuel to get to Joule. Bad news is acceleration's kind of terrible. But wonder if I should do time warp. I don't particularly want to, because what if we mess it up? Nah, we're going. We are going. I'd probably skip ahead like, I don't know, 10 minutes if I were you. But you can watch if you want and listen to my commentary. It's not particularly good, but sometimes I bring up interesting things. I don't know. I guess I should explain a little bit about myself, maybe. Or what the goals here are, or anything like that. We've almost got the entire system explored. So, I think the only place we haven't had at least a flyby of is Elu. And we'll probably do that with one of these landers. Probably this one. So I think what I'm gonna do is save the crew in the pole lander, refuel all the ships, then send one of the landers down the Lathe. Try to pick up as many people as we can. Hopefully it all goes well. And if it does, go to Lathe orbit, rendezvous with the tanker, leave Lathe orbit. What else after that? Refuel everything. Then divide up the crew. Send one of these landers to go back to Kerman. Recover a bunch of our Kerbal nuts. They deserve it. They've been on Lathe for decades. And then the second one, I think we'll send it to Elu if we can. We have an Elu, drew to Elu in 26 years. So we got some time to go do other stuff, but I just wanted to drew to Elu mission. I think we'll put Jeb on that one. So he should be back in Kerman in like 1 billion years or something. I don't know. At least 26 plus however long it takes to get the Elu. It's gonna be like a Homa transfer, so it's gonna be like, I don't know, 5 years or something. And then on top of that, ooh, he might have to slow down somewhere. Might send him back to Dune or something, or do like an Eve aero brake, or not Eve aero brake, Eve gravity assist, slow down. That actually might be pretty helpful. But I'm just gonna get paired up just to Eve's orbit. We'll see how much fuel we have. Should be plenty though. So yeah, a lot of ambitious things in part of this mission. Where are we in terms of contracts? We have to return the Kerman from a flyby of Jewel, plant Falcon Val, plant Falcon Pole. Which means we also have to hit Val on this mission. Find a Val ice chunk. I don't know if we have time for that. We got this mission. This one has a lot of things to do. The only reason I accept this mission is because the only penalty for failure is reputation. So most of these are probably not going to get fulfilled out, if any. Build a new orbital station on solar orbit. I think we should have plenty of time for this one, but I don't know if I'm even going to do it. Oh, extract ore from Lathe delivered to Jewel. That one probably expires soon, I think. So I don't know if we're going to have time to finish that one. Yeah. Now it looks like our burn to Jewel's Sphere of Influence is almost done. Then after that, all we gotta do is line up a good gravity assist on the Muns. Inclination change too. Yep. Pretty cool stuff. Come on. Almost there, so close. Nice thing about Jewel is since it's so big, it's easy to hit. It looks like we'll be hitting our ascending node either too late or too early. So, goodbye, Kerman. We are going away. Let's leave Kerman's Sphere of Influence. I think we have left Kerman's Sphere of Influence. Now we are kind of far away from our ascending node, which I'm not thrilled about, but we're still kind of close to it, so we get like a decent amount of the benefits. Now you can only change your inclination at the actual inclination change. So it might be coming in a little bit weird angle, but nothing too terrible. So Now we have to get the pole. Anything else, and we'd be stranding the crew here. So now let me edit this maneuver note. Whoa, way too fast. Even small changes here seem to be affecting it quite dramatically. Alright. $35. Decent. Yeah, we could trigger the list or figure out the rest later. Let me turn on more patch conics. I think we need the advanced tweakables on too. Oh, it is on. Patch conics. Patch conics, cone sections, they basically are the outlines of the orbits. Where is it? That's important for planning out maneuvers if you're changing a lot of spheres of influence. So we need the patch conic limit to be, usually 4 is pretty good. Let's see. That gives us a burn where we leave the Julian system. So we need to go the other way. That circularizes us. Kind of at a weird angle, but it's only 51 meters per second for a capture. Then we'll have 3,000 meters per second to do all the fancy orbital maneuvering to get the pole. It's kind of an annoying planet to go to, honestly. It's a little bit farther away from Joule, so orbital periods are kind of high. Hang on. I just warped past my maneuver, didn't I? Yep. Well, let's see how close we could get. Ah, this thing turns like a bus. Let's get terrible thrust to weight ratio too. We'll be able to fine tune our maneuver a little bit later anyways. Yep. You know, how much does the circular is? Let's just go for a very low periapsis. Synchronization cost shouldn't be that high. 286. We'll be going quite fast, but $193. Perfect. Let's go. More expensive than the tidal capture we arrogantly went past, but or not arrogantly, stupidly, it's more like it. Now we are flying to Lathe, or Joule. I think what I'll do is I'll try to dock this fuel tank to the... We'll have to see how much fuel we have, but... I'll leave this fuel tank in, like, high lathe or high pole orbit. We'll dock it... Actually, maybe we should just do a pole landing. I think we'll put this in pole orbit. We'll do our landing. We'll plant our flag. That'll be the episode. Episode after that, we shall rescue that crew that we're talking about. I don't know. We might have enough time to do this episode. I'll have to go fast though. It usually takes me a while to line up a pole just because it's so tiny and tend to do it in a weird way. And then once we line up a pole, we gotta go line up with the other ship, you know. So not very fun. I just realized for Augustus 4 I didn't fix that one cosmetic defect that was bugging me. Let's see, is it right here? Yeah, it's right here. The alignment's a little bit off. With us today, we got Chad and Barkgun. Now, Barkgun is a fresh hire. Very excited to come being out. Chad, we rescued from Kerman orbit. He got stuck there like an idiot. It's not exactly the best Kerbals for this mission, but our really good Kerbals, Orhat and Mirsky, who went to Dres and had like this crazy return. Where Mirsky was stranded for like an extra 3 years in space. Or maybe even longer. I forget. They're currently stuck in Pole, so... And then Jebediah has been stuck on Lathe. Like, that's the whole reason we launched the first mission. Is to go rescue Jebediah. So this is like the rescue mission for the rescue mission. And if you follow this series, you'll know in these like last couple episodes we've had a lot of setbacks. So, this is like, I don't know, rescue mission attempt number 5 or something. We lost a couple of landers. One's in like very high orbit right now. Let me check it out. Yep. Green Savior. Hasn't even completed a single orbit since we lost it. Yep. This guy, though, I'm sure he can make it. He's got plenty of fuel, a good ship. If anyone could come back from... What's it called? Anyone could come back from Jewel, it's this ship. Now, there is a lot of requirements on the ship. Like, it will have to do lathe, it will have to do pull, it will have to move this ship around, it will have to do a lot of docking. So a complex mission, no doubt, but I'm still confident we can make it. Just coming in hot right now. Inclination is inconvenient, but I'm setting our apoapsis up pretty high, so we should be able to... Let me check where our periapsis is, though. That's good. Our apoapsis is high, so the burns we do shouldn't cost too much delta V. I mean, definitely less than we have. So, right now I'm just having the ship adjust its attitude before we reach our periapsis. This is a sluggish ship when it's carrying the fuel tank. That fuel tank might weigh more than the ship. Lots of fuel in this thing right now. But the Kerbals are very happy. They get to see Jewel go on this mission. We got Lathe right there. See if you can see any of the other moons. It's just Lathe. Yeah, Kerbals are very happy about this mission. This is an important one. I mean, rescue Jebediah Kerman From Lathe, that's a pretty tall order. But I think we're gonna be able to do it. Coming into very low Lathe orbit. Or Joule orbit. Could have aero brake, but I mean, look how fast we're going. Aero braking that, you're crazy. Gonna start the deceleration burn right now. Is this controlled the right way? Guess so. Kinda feels like we're moving the wrong direction though. Maybe it's just like an optical illusion. Clouds moving or something. So we should be moving that way, but feels like we're moving this way. Awesome. Now... Whoa. Something weird happens to the Augustus 3. Got kicked out of its orbit a little bit. I think it got a gravity assist. Alright. Better dock with it quick while we still have the chance. Let's see, how should we do this? Well, the ascending node is quite high. Guess we could start by changing that. Man, it won't even let me click on this. There we go. You know, I think inclination like this might make more sense to go to, what's it called? Bop. Man, maneuvers are acting kind of weird. You know, I'm gonna cut our velocity a little bit more. Let's try to lower our apoapsis. Alright. Oh, let me play some maneuver. That maneuver. There we go. This is not exciting. Sunny node. Ooh, let's see what that is. Well, we can't do it because it's super expensive, but yep, a lot of mistakes were made in how we entered the Julian system on this mission. New pilot, no wonder this guy got stuck in orbit of, what's it called? Kerman for all that time. So, time warp to our maneuver. And then hopefully things get easier from there. It's going to be a pretty expensive burn, but we should have the time for it. Should be a pull in no more than a couple months if all goes well. $500 m/s burn, but on these engines, oof, tough. Tempted to leave this fuel tank just in Jules orbit because it's kind of useful, but I think, you know, just bringing the fuel tank was a pretty important innovation in this design. I think it'll help a lot to use it. So Mercy S. Just use the gimbal authority to control our stabilization. This is kind of a funny view. See, normally when you see a burn like this, you're thinking, oh, someone messed up somewhere. And you'd be right. Probably could have saved us like 500 m/s if we just did the phase change at the right, or the inclination change at the right time, instead of skipping past it. And the benefit of this is we will be raising our apoapsis, but we'll also be raising our periapsis. I want to try to avoid getting another lunar capture, I think. It may be helpful though, just to save some fuel for a, you know, just kind of change these things a little bit. Alright. Sending now to 0.2. Still insanely high for a Pol mission, but ooh, what's that? Tylo. It's kind of cool. Oof. Bit expensive, but it's worth it. I like that. Just getting rid of some of the errors in our burns right now, or in our orbit difference between us and what's the name of this planet? Pol. So we should have, I don't know, 1800 m/s of delta V left for the landing. So plenty. Plus we'll be leaving the fuel tank in orbit. We'll then refuel the fuel tank, so all will be fine. I was gonna start my burn later, but I just saw that. Remembered that the math is wrong for the burn indicator. I'm kind of tired. Work was a little bit brutal today. I say that so it's not academic labor, but it's hard because I'm on a new sleep schedule. Now, as we lose mass, our thrust is increasing significantly. Now we just gotta set up a rendezvous. Or let me actually cancel out the remaining error in our ascending node. Shouldn't be too bad. Nah, that'll do. Man, 24 days just to go there. Going so slow. Good. Setting node is at an appropriate angle. Now, this rendezvous. I think what we'll do is just decrease our velocity until we could get an intercept. So 56 meters a second to pay, not bad at all. Nope, was that it right there? Yep. In 125 days. That's gonna take forever. $58 kilometers. 35. 35 will do. I think this thing's gonna look really cool when it enters lace orbit. And it enters the atmosphere, more specifically. We will have to take care, make sure we don't burn it up. Sometimes late atmosphere can be kind of brutal. It's coming in hot or at a weird angle. Don't bleed up enough speed in the upper atmosphere. Since Lathe is shorter, I think it's even denser too than Kerman. Must double check the gravity on that. But it should be coming in slower. Then I think the atmosphere is also thinner, so it should be coming in slower than you would on Kerman. But it also means you go through the atmosphere thicker, you hit the thicker part sooner. Wow. 8 kilometers. 73. What do you want to do? 21? Perfect. Now, please don't be a million meters per second circular ice. Oh, that's not bad at all. See how much easier this is with extra fuel tank? I mean, we're basically getting to Duna with or Pol with extra 2,000 meters per second. So, just shows you how inefficiently the other guys were flying it. But not topping off their tanks 10 times. Morons. 89 days until we hit our target, which will be the close to the 4 years for this vehicle. You ain't done yet. You still gotta go to Elu. And we're gonna get our money's worth out of you. Now going to Elu would be quite... oh, there you are. Entered their orbit. Or their sphere of influence. Going to Elu would be quite prestigious. It'll be a first. It's the furthest out planet in our solar system. No one's ever been. So we should get like a lot of first man things. And then if we recover the craft too, it's like recovered a vessel from flight of Elu. Or, you know, from flight to Elu. So we'll be in a good position. Tempted to kind of like empty one of these fuel tanks out. Just leave it here. So it's less we have to refuel. But that's whatever. Now let's get to circularizing. Yeah, I'm super tired. Couldn't stop thinking about Kerbal Space Program at work, though. You know how it is when you're a true Kerbal enthusiast. Alright. Perfect. Now we are going to leave you here, Agrippa, and we will jettison off down to the surface. This line is pretty cool. It's got dynamic heat shields, or not dynamic heat shields. It's got a... Why aren't you moving? I ordered you to move. There we go. It's got a little robotic heat shield that actuates to close it. See, are we out of the sphere? Yes. We shall now be colliding with the surface promptly. And we've already been to Pol once, I believe. Yep, Pol 1. So this will be Pol 2. Okay, guys, following in the footsteps of giants. Now, if you don't know, in the late game, I think engineers are the most valuable because they can do construction stuff, speed up ISRUs. So, our front man for this mission is Bart Gunn. He studied hard, got good grades, high intelligence, high courage. Unlike Chad over here, kind of adult, just got stuck in orbit like an idiot. It's the only place he's ever been is Kerman orbit. Man, we are going slowly towards the planet. So. Nah, I think I would prefer to land in some of the flatter parts, but Pol used to have like a lot of Kraken-y type stuff happen to it. I think it had like bad collision messages or something for some reason. But appears to be all good now. Alright, so 1,000 meters per second. Yeah, look at us landing with plenty of fuel. Those other guys were peasants by our fuel standards. Just bringing in nice and easy Barcone, or Chad. Alright. Now I'm gonna end the ship radial up because our tangential velocity, or our velocity not relative to our downward position, like our velocity along the surface is kind of low, so we can afford it to just cancel that with the RCS or whatever. We could probably land the ship on RCS if we wanted to. Looks like we're about to. Oh man, touchdown. Look at that. Alright, Barcone. Go plant the flag. First flag plant of Barcone. First EVA. Actually, no, second EVA. You did that construction EVA earlier. Nice work. We actually made it to... what's it called? Pol, okay. And once you get to Pol, you could get to pretty much anywhere else. Yeah, maybe we should leave one of these landers behind. I kind of miss it. We'll send a third lander maybe, if we ever come back here. Pol 2. Barcone. Kerman here. So happy to have left Kerman. I am here with Chad. We are on a rescue mission to save Orbat and Mirsky, who they themselves are on a rescue mission to save Jebediah, stranded on Lathe. I hope I don't die. Well said, Barcone, well said. Let's get a nice picture of your ship. And you, much smaller by comparison. Well, thanks for watching, guys. I think we'll end the episode there. Another successful mission. Another, I say. So if the last one was kind of terrible. Actually, no, the last one was a good mission. We docked with this thing. And then we also rescued Chad. So that was good. Although, I guess Chad and Barcone have developed a bit of an animosity. I don't know. I just like making up stories for the Kerbals. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Check in next time to see if we can save the other Kerbals. And I think we'll go for the flag on Val.